There's some right there, folks. Ugh. I believe we got them. Oh, my, my, my. If I got that net over those fish, over those shad, we're going to have plenty of bait. Oh, we got plenty. This net is absolutely full of them. Look here, folks. Golly. Look at there. I don't need but just a few of those. Let's see how many we got. All right, that's going to be plenty of them right there, and then some. We'll let the rest of these go. What I'm going to do right here is take my Sprite out of here and dump these in here. Now, what these are threadfin shad. That's a good bait for what we're going to be doing. Threadfin, gizzard shad, well, either way. Let's talk about what we're going to do today. Well, good morning, folks. It's Richard Gene the Fishing Machine here. It's already blistering hot. It's already 80 degrees. I mean, it is hot out here. The water's high. The reason why it's high is because the anticipation of a lot of rain next week. TVA is getting to where they're really pulling the water way up, with just a little bit of anticipation of rain. I don't know. They used to didn't go so high up with it as they do now. There's a reason for it, and I'm not going to question that. They're a lot smarter than I am. But I do know one thing. When the water gets this high, well, what does that mean? That means that the catfish, especially channel cats, will get extremely shallow. And what we're going to be doing today is going to be really fun. This is a light rod as far as light. And it's a Z-Man Drew's Ultimate Ned Rig rod, and I have two of them. I have one that is 5'4", which is this one, and I also have one that is 5'10", a little bit longer, but they're both about the same action. They're really light. A lot of fun catching channel cats and small blues with them. And creek fishing, they're just the type of rod that's a lot of fun to fish with, folks. I have loaded on here 8-pound test frost braid. 8-pound test. Little bitty floater and a little bitty, that's a size 1/0 eagle claw circle hook. 1/0. Now I'm tying straight to this braid because I'm not going to be fishing around rocks too much. I'm going to be just fishing sort of flats, close to the bank, and there's not much that they're going to be able to wrap me up in. And there's certain situations where I'll tie straight to braid when it comes to, you know, fishing for these channel cats. Usually I like to have a leader, but I believe we can get by with that today because of how the fish are going to be set up. But I'm going to be fishing very shallow, and that knot right there is a Palomar knot. That's the only knot that I'll use. The only knot that I'll use if I tie straight to braid. That knot will not slip. There's a lot of knots out there, good knots, that will slip when it comes to tying it with braid. Tying them with braid, they'll just slip out and you'll lose a fish. But a Palomar knot will hold. Now I'm using a little Fluger President reel. I'm going to start off with that. This other rod is rigged identically, and it has a little, little cadence reel on it. And what we're going to do is just cut small pieces of cut bait and go around the banks right here and see if we can find some channel cat. They should be up very shallow on account of this water being so high. Alright folks, I'm going to say this. This is a big threadfin shad right here. Now the reason they call them thread fins, if you can see right here, see this long fin? sticking out right here, or they call them yellowtails. But the right name for this one is, this particular species is threadfin shad. Okay folks, what we're going to do is just cut him like this. I'm actually going to throw the head away just about like that. Chunks just about like that's going to be big enough for what we're going to be doing today. So let's try that real quick. Let's put her on. This is, like I said, it's a 1/0. It's a very small circle hook, but I catch far more fish when it comes to channel cat with a size 1/0 or 2/0. Won't hardly miss them. But what I'm going to do is just barely hook him up like that right there. That's it. Just like that. You want as much of that hook exposed as you possibly can have it. Alright folks, I'm going to start right here on this point. And that's probably about 18 inches deep. So let's make a cast out there on that point. Up there real shallow now. Remember, the water's way up. Close to the bank up there. What I'm going to do is just let it float. And I'm anchored right now at the back of the boat. So I'm going to anchor because it is so windy. Now if it hadn't been so windy like it is right now, I would just troll around and fish until I found them. But usually when you find them, when you catch one in an area, there's going to be several there. Float is under, folks. Let's see what we got. There's one. There we go. Let me get him under my other line right here. I don't want him to get tangled up. I got 2 rods out right here. Yep, they're up here shallow. Oh man, you talking about fun. Now with this real light stuff like I'm using right here, it is a lot of fun. A lot of fun. This ain't a bad channel right here. Now I'm gonna tell y'all something. Let me add this. Golly, he's starting to really fight right here. Let me loosen my drag off a little bit. He ain't no giant, but he's a lot of fun, folks, on this kind of tackle. Now I'm getting excited now. I love this kind of stuff right here. Just simple stuff like this. Something that anybody can do is what I like. Golly, get you a little noodle whip of a rod like this if you want to have some fun out here. It's the same as catching a 40-pound blue or a 30-pound blue on a real heavy rig. Except for your, God, y'all see how he's fighting? He's not wanting to quit. And he ain't really that big, but he's a pretty fish, yo. Quit. There we go. Now that is a lot of fun. Hey, a lot of fun. I'm going to wet this right here real good so it don't disturb the slime coat of this fish, because we're going to let him go. Hey man, whoa, they're up shallow, real shallow. That was probably at about 14-15 inches of water where I caught that fish. Matter of fact, when I set the hook, I don't know if y'all could see it, but I could. I seen the mud bull. He was up there so shallow. That's what they'll do. When they raise the water up like this, a big concentration of catfish, especially channel cat, will move up shallow. Now there's always some fish up shallow, no doubt, when it comes to channel cats, but a big bunch of them will move in a lot of times. How many times have you heard the term whisker hooked? Whisker hooked. Let me show you what a whisker hook is. Well, that's what whisker hooked is right there. See that? Barely hooked. In other words, I was fortunate to catch that fish. But that looks like a little bitty, like a small female fish. Probably the males has got a bigger head this time of year. And we're going to let her go. Beautiful little fish, give me a lot of fun. Now, I'm going to focus on this area a little bit longer. Matter of fact, I've tried 2 different areas, anchored and fished them out. And I had one bite and missed the fish. But usually when you get a bite in an area, like I stated before, there's some more, usually in that area. And sometimes you can find a gold mine. Sometimes there's a bunch of them. But let's let this girl go right here. And by the way, the surface temperature is at 75 degrees this morning. Okay, let's let her go. That's actually a pretty good sized channel cat. There she goes. And I'm not using a split shot or anything. There's no reason. See, I'm anchored here at the back of the boat. And the wind's blowing in towards the shore. So I don't really need any weight at all. I'm just letting those floats blow around and sort of cover water. And that helps a whole lot, folks. But, hey, a sport, second to none. You can find them to where they're so thick that it don't take but just a New York second after you make a cast, and your floater may not be on the water 2 minutes, and that float will be down. When you get on a big concentration of them in a situation like this, that's really what I'm looking for. If we find it, we find it. If we don't, we don't. Sometimes you don't. Sometimes you just have to fish this shallow water like this, because they are up there in that real shallow water, no doubt. Just by me catching that one fish like that, I know for a fact they're up there. They're not shy about biting. A lot of people think you gotta wait and wait and wait and wait and wait before you can get a bite from catfish. That's not so. They're either there or they're not. Or they could be there and not active. But now if they're active, they'll let you know pretty quick, just like any other fish. There's no doubt about that. They're not. They're eager biters if they're hungry, just like any other fish. It's just you got to get out here and understand that by fishing for them. There's a bite, folks. There he is. Golly. See, you can lose a rod quick doing this. I really need to have them in rod holders, but I don't have any right here in the front. The way the wind's blow, I'm just having to fish this way. Golly, that fish hit it. He ain't that big, but boy, he hit it. He meant to have it. But that's what I'm talking about. If you ever catch one, there's some more around in the area under this type of situation, high water. You got to be quick if you're going to be fishing like this. But that's not a bad channel catfish, not at all. Look at there. But he went away from me, like I said, straight away from me. And that's how they get you, tow your rod over. A fish of this size, when they're moving out that quick, can pull a pretty good sized rod overboard. And quick. Real quick. Okay. That's a pretty good one. If you'll notice how this fish is hooked, barely. That's why I love these circle hooks. You don't kill your fish. I mean, if you want to let them go, you can, without injuring them. And that's the whole point, to me, of fishing. Now, if you want to eat him, it don't make any difference, obviously. But let's get our hook out right here. Just twist it out. They come out easy. I used to fish with cow hooks back in the old days and thought they were gold, but when circle hooks come out, well, they're just so much better in my opinion. But Let's let him go because he's about to poop. Go on back. But we'll rebait right here with a fresh one and throw it right back out there, because they could be, you never know, they could be 20 or 30 fish sitting out there swimming around right now. Or they're just swimming in here and then moving out. Swimming in here and moving out. That could be the case right here. I'm not sure yet, because I hadn't been here long enough to find that out. That's 3 baits that I've gotten out of one shad, folks. I mean, so I've really got too many shad probably. But I still got a little bit of belly cavity left right there. I'm going to take advantage of that and hook it just like I did that other belly cavity. Just like that. It's real thin right there, but that is tough. Tougher than what you might think. And you've got all that hook exposure, so when you get bit, you will get him. I mean, hard to miss them like that. But let's make another cast out yonder way and let it I'm just letting them float around. That's all I'm doing. Without any split shot. Let me stress that. That way that float will move around a little bit more and cover water. That's what I'm wanting to happen today. Alright, that's down again, folks. Let's see what we got. Yeah, there we got his butt that time. Yeah. He messed around too much. So that was a catfish. Sure was. Sometimes they hit it so hard and quick they don't get the bait in their mouth. You know, channel catfish are notorious for that. That's why I'm using small baits. They prefer small baits. They don't have that big of a mouth. Now this fish is fighting. This might be a little better fish right here. Golly, y'all see what I mean? He's putting it on me. Golly, y'all get out here and do this. I can't tell y'all how doggone hard this fish is pulling now. Yeah, golly. I mean, anybody would like this. This is a good catfish right here. Golly. He ain't gonna quit. Look here, that's a good channel cat. See, they'll fight if you'll, and I've stressed that so many times. I want y'all to come out here and have fun. Don't be scared of light tackle. You can have a lot of fun with light tackle. Matter of fact, that's where the sport of fishing is all. That's what it's all about. To me, is matching these fish with the right tackle or a little less. See, I'm fishing a little bit less than what I should, really. Okay. Quit. He ain't gonna quit. Alright, we got him anyway. The circle hook. Hooked the net. I better watch this other rod. Okay, now we've protected the fish like that. That's a good channel right there. Good channel cat. And he's gonna poop if I don't watch it now. I mean, he is. He's gonna... Ooh, I better get him unhooked. But that hook right there is not too small. Definitely not. It's actually a very, very appropriate size for channel cat. They don't have a big mouth, especially the females. Let's let her go. That's a good fish. Hard pulling rascal. And that's what fishing's all about. I get a lot of questions about, don't you like to eat catfish? I do. But the fact of the matter is, we have, you know, such good crappie fishing, bluegill and shell cracker. those three species are my favorite, and you know, I don't have any trouble finding them and catching them any time of the year. So I'm spoiled on them. Now, catfish is delicious, especially the smaller ones. If I was going to eat channel catfish, I would want the smallest one that we caught so far. That'd be about the limit right there, and then smaller, a little bit smaller than that. To me, that's the best. But everybody's different, you know, about that. But everybody's got an opinion. Mine ain't nothing but an opinion. Let's try it again. Them fish is out there. I was gonna move right along this bank right here. If you can see, there's a few rocks, and concentrate on the shade, because a lot of times those fish get right up against the bank, and focus on those shades or relate to those shades. And there's an area right back there that looks good. But so far, this is, they just keep biting right here. Okay, I'm gonna lay that rod like that so we can't get it as easy if I'm not watching. Of course, I am watching. But when they take off with it, if you got your mind on one rod, and if one hits it over here, if he takes off with it and goes away from you, hey, it's just like that. Usually by the time you reach and grab your rod, if you're lucky enough to do that, he's done hooked himself with that circle hook. You don't want to set the hook, just reel or let him set it with a circle hook, because I've mentioned this too. Let's say if I got a bite right now, float went down, I reeled down to the fish and I set the hook with a circle hook, 9 times out of 10 you'll miss that fish. These hooks are not designed for that. They're just really designed for you just to reel against the fish, or the fish go against you and hook yourself. And it's hard to comprehend that, but what it is, that hook will slide in that fish's mouth till it gets to the corner of his mouth, on the inside of his mouth. Then it will, that point will grab in a little bit, then that hook will turn in enough pressure or at such an angle that it will hook the fish. So you have to think about that for a little bit. Once you comprehend, for those of y'all who's never used a circle hook, but once you understand that, you'll see that, you know, you'll understand why. If you set the hook, you won't catch them. I mean, sometimes you will, but not much. Goodness, y'all see that? Just as soon as I made a cast in there, that catfish was all over it. Golly, boy, this is a good one too. Just as soon as that bait hit, this is a doggone good one for the way we're fishing. My goodness, he's gonna break that rod. This is a doggone good one, folks. I hope I can keep him out of these trees. I don't know if I'm going to be able to or not. I'm not kidding you about that. There he comes. Let's get him away from these trees. But that fish hit it the instant it hit the water. That's 2 or 3 I've had do that. This is a mean fish. I mean, a mean one. I had a tough time right there. Golly. My. No wonder it's a good channel. I know y'all couldn't see it, but when I flipped it in there, I was watching that bait sink, and that bait probably, you know, we don't have any weight on it. It might have sunk 3 inches, and I was still seeing it flash. I seen that fish grab that, and I thought, oh my goodness, you got to be kidding. And I knew it was a catfish. Golly, because they'll do that. They'll get up there in inches of water. Inches of water. Top-notch predator. My goodness. That fish give me a fit, folks. Let's get him right here. Yeah, no wonder. That's a doggone good fish right here. We'll show you this one. You know, folks, this is just about as sporty as you can get right here. Limber rod. This rod right here is made for ultralight fishing. I mean, a rock bass in the creek will bend this rod up. Little bitty reel, 8-pound test braid. That is very, very sporty. Very sporty. That fish right there was hard to handle. Matter of fact, I didn't think I was going to be able to get him, keep him out of those trees. He was pulling that hard. But that's just about all I want right there. That's about it on that kind of tackle. Let's let him go. My, what a fish. And another thing I want to say, folks, don't be afraid to fish in really, really shallow water. I'm talking about real thin water. When the water's this high like this, okay, we know for a fact that these fish will come up and get in this, I call it new water. They'll do that. But don't be afraid to fish in real skinny water. Right here is real skinny. I mean, I'm fishing in front of this tree, but I bet you there's not but about 15 inches of water right there. I mean, or it might come up to about your knee. But those catfish, I mean, they don't have any trouble at all going up in that kind of water. Matter of fact, channel catfish like shallow water. They really do. Even if the water's not high, they like shallow water. But what I do is I'm constantly adjusting my float, because I'm going to fish. I want to fish at least 3 or 4 inches off the bottom if I'm going to use a float. Okay, folks, here's a good looking place right here. Let's make a cast. Good looking place for catfish. The reason what makes it good is you got timber in here laying around. Now you got rock and you have shade, so you have everything they need right here, and there's no doubt about that. See, that cork is down. There we go. I knew it. I knew it. This ain't a bad one right here at all. Not at all. Golly, where are you going, boy? He said, I'm going to go where I want to go. You done made me mad. You stuck that hook in my mouth. That's a strong fish right here. Let's see if we can get out from under here a little bit. Let's lead him on out. Okay. But that's a made to order. That's what I'm looking for right there. Places like that, well, it's textbook for conditions like this. Is he gonna quit? I tell you. Oh my goodness. You talking about bringing a kid out here? As fast as these are biting today now, it'd be okay. And letting him get hooked up with one of these, oh my goodness. You'd ruin them. You'd ruin your kid, folks. And this is something that's easy to do. And once you figure out what to look for, you can catch these fish at will. I mean, easy. It's just hard to get them in with this light tackle. That's a good one. That is a real good one right there. Come on, boy. Golly. Woo! That's a little male fish right there. See how dark he is? Now, they're mean. Give me a fit. It's just a blessing to be out here, folks. But knowing what to look for is really important. And it don't take long. Just by time on the water, you can get out here and you can figure this stuff out. And you can catch fish at will. Just about any species you want to target. Just let him go. There he goes. Hard pulling thing. Whoa. The fish was a hard pulling thing. Whoa. The adrenaline is built up until I can't. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Old lady Xander can make the best cornbread I've ever eaten in my life. And them beans she fixed was the best ones I've ever had. Well, folks, we're going to let it go. I'm going to tell you something. I had a lot of fun, caught a lot of fish out here. It was hot. I didn't really know it was hot until right now, until I quit. Because I was tied into a catfish constantly. Once I found out how deep they was, it was just no problem catching them. High water catfish, well, they're easy to catch, they're easy to target, and you don't have to fish deep for them normally because they're going to be right by the bank. But this 1/0 circle hook done the job. 1/0 or 2/0 is about the only two sizes I use for channel cat, and a small float. No weight at all. I mean, if you wanted to use a small split shot, it would be fine, but really I like for the breeze to blow my offering across the fish, because what that does, you're covering water when that bait is moving. And remember, a channel cat or blue cat or a flathead cat, don't think of them as a sit and wait type situation. These fish are very, very active when they have to be. They actively feed like any other fish. That's what I'm trying to say. I want to say God bless each and every one of y'all. Thank y'all for all the great comments. Everything y'all do is appreciated. Hey. Oh, the adrenaline. It's been bad today. It's been very bad, but I've been restraining it because there has been a few people around, and people are bad to... Oh my goodness. And remember, go fishing when you can, because it's good food.